Were you an athlete, school teacher, or maybe worked in a corporate world? Our careers, they tend to be the way that we identify ourselves. Now, what happens when that identity is taken from you? We found ours in real estate. Now, let us help you find yours on the Free Agent Real Estate Investing Podcast, starting now.
Welcome to the Free Agent Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your co-host, Stratton Brown.
And I'm your other co-host, Michael Butler. Man, thank you guys for joining us again.
This one is live. Drop where you're watching from. Let us know who you are. StreamYard hates y'all, doesn't show your names. Let us know what you're learning, what you're running into. Did you bring any topics today?
No, I didn't bring no topics, bro. Straight off the cranium.
We had our first viral reel.
Oh shit! What you do? What was it about?
Giving one of our employees a raise.
Okay.
So it was
I didn't know that shit was that monumental, but go ahead.
Right. I mean, so it was about one of our employees was like, hey, so this is what I'm trying to achieve. Like, this is like what my goals are. This is what I want. And she was like, it costs X amount a month. And I was like, all right, it's done. Mm-hmm. Here's $500 every month. Like, just add it on top of your salary.
Was that the one from like the event that from your mastermind?
No, yeah. I mean, because like she's amazing. She works hard. And like we were just trying to like, what do you want?
For sure.
And she's like, I want this. I was like, that's reasonable. Yeah, it's done.
So when you say viral, what kind of viral? Like
right now we're like 320,000 views.
Hell yeah. TikTok, Instagram,
Facebook Reels.
Sheesh. Facebook Reels?
Facebook Reels.
I didn't even know Facebook fucked with people like that.
Right. But with on TikTok it went to 10,000.
Nice.
And that was our best, bro. You'd be amazed at the amount of. I think social media is such a great place, but there's so many shitty people on there. Every time I've had anything go big on Facebook, the amount of negative energy that comes with that shit is insane.
I mean, I think there's an audience there. Find out what they're really hating on it and maybe push it towards that audience.
Right. Well, one of the dudes is like, what happens if all your employees want a $500 raise? They don't fucking get it because they weren't good enough to get it in the first place.
But if all your employees, how can you play off of that?
Right. Well, I mean, because like I thought about it, I was like, so what if all my employees, and I had to have a talk with everybody today. What if all of our employees want a $500 raise? I'm like, well, what are you doing to help the company generate that amount of money so we can give you that amount of, like, you don't, value doesn't come out of thin air.
No, you gotta bring it in some
like you capacity. Have to bring the value so we can fucking pay you for it.
Mm-hmm.
You are really where you're at based off of what you've created in our company and like the value that you brought.
Mm-hmm.
If we thought you were good enough, we'd pay you more.
Enough said, right?
Like then that is like 100% my mindset.
And if you feel your value is greater than maybe what I believe that it is, and we could also talk about that. So then maybe I can let you know why your value isn't what you think it is.
And if you think it's there, then you can leave.
Either way, a conversation is to be had.
Either way,
right?
A conversation can be had. What else did the dude say? That was the one that like struck me the most. To where he was like, "Oh, what if all of them want that? Like, this is stupid." I was like, I mean, well, here's the answer.
Well, what you tell him is, you know what? That's a phenomenal question, dog. What would you do?
I mean, I'm not trying to be condescending, but yeah. So, like,
how's that condescending?
I would be condescending. I wouldn't say what would you do. But, all right, so, like, how many employees do you have? Like, how much money do you make?
No, motherfuckers think they got the answer all the time. So, you know, I don't know the answer to that. What do you think? How would you handle that,
sir?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
in what acumen, like, would you handle this?
Yeah,
I'll give them all a raise. Experience.
I'll give them all a raise.
I'll give them all a raise. Like, okay, yeah. And then the company goes under.
Yeah.
Good job, bud.
So yeah, like Strat said, if you guys are in on the live right now, you guys are watching, make sure you let us know who you are, where you're from. We'd love to be able to interact with you guys. Last time we kind of failed at that because we hadn't really been doing the live thing in the sense of going off the engagement, because sometimes it messes with the flow. But I believe our last episode, we had so much participation and we weren't able to play off of that or even answer some of those questions. And so I didn't like that. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm at least following along to answer some questions as they come up. I believe Carlos was one of those that had a lot of questions.
Carlos, my man.
So what's up with you, man? What you been going through? What you maybe to do a little temp check, man. How you feeling?
So I'll use this, and I was going to talk about this on my personal podcast. We have grown our company so much that the culture has gotten diluted from me. Mm-hmm. Even if you have core values and everything else, I felt that the culture didn't have the mentality that I have overall.
Okay.
To where I was like, so like you guys, like, because I don't like talk to everybody. Mm-hmm. I was all right. So in all reality, I don't think you guys are doing good enough, and I don't think you have the right mentality in order for us to be great. Like, if we're going to be a great company, number one, we are going to fucking bury everybody, and there is no excuses, and it's Mamba mentality every day.
Okay.
Whenever we give feedback, I always hear bitching. I was like, I don't want to hear any bitching. We are giving you feedback to help you make more money so we can give you a raise.
Okay.
Because the better you do, the better the company does. The better the company does, the more room for growth we have for you. That is where my mind goes. And I was like, and I don't think we are holding the standard, because like in upper management, like they have it, right? But then like, let's say the base level is 4 layers away from me. So it's really, really hard. Like, if you're a good enough leader, you can fucking instill that in the entire company at scale. But like, okay, now let's say we're in 7 different countries. I'm fucking doing it into people's living rooms. That gets hard. Okay. So that was one thing I was running into. I was like, all right, so I think we need to do a legitimate just reset of, because like we get all these like HR complaints and everything else of people bitching about one thing or another. I was like, I don't give a fuck what you bitch about. Like, it is Mamba mentality every day, and you're gonna come in, you're gonna be the fucking best. If you don't want to be the best, leave. Yeah. I was like, and you can submit your resignation today to your coach or your manager, whoever it is. I don't give a fuck.
It's kind of like my senior year at Fresno State, when we had a new head coach come in, and it was like a team meeting that we had. It was like, a lot of what took place was, I mean, at the end of the day, like, everyone can blame a head guy, but like, we're the product, you know what I mean? And we know what we're capable of. Yeah. So we took accountability for that. And it started with our leadership, and it was more like, hey, yeah, we got a new coach coming in, but this is kind of our expectations going into a new conference. And our expectations that we're going to go in there our first year and we're going to win that bitch. Like, that's exactly what was said. We about to go into the Mountain West and we about to win that bitch our first year in it. If you're not on board with that, you can go now. We even said, hey, with us getting a new coach, and this is before transfer portal. Yeah. So when you get a new coach, people can transfer. You don't have to sit out a year. So it was just like, if that's something that you're even considering, like, do that shit now. Don't even wait to see who get hired. Like, just fucking go, because we don't even need you here at that point in time. You know what I mean? So it was a reset. It was just like, bro, this is our standard. This is what we're going to do when it comes to 6 a.m.s, spring ball, like, you know what I mean? Summer workouts. Like, this is the expectation, the effort, the standard that we're looking for. And if you're not on board with that, if that shit rubs you the wrong way, because we're going to be very vocal about it. And we were, man, that offseason was damn near probably one of the hardest ones that I had as a senior. But it was so rewarding because, again, the tempo and the expectation was set ahead of time.
The mentality was
100%. So when we're doing these 6 a.m.s and we're doing this summer workouts, like, it can be very easy to kind of just fall into just another
shit,
day,
right?
Falls into another day, but we were so intentional every day. Hey, finish. Hey, stand up. Hey, you know what I mean? Exactly. Like, we were so intentional with that. You couldn't take something the wrong way when somebody would get on you about something, because, bro, we said that 4 months ago that this is what it was going to be like.
This is what the fuck it is.
This is what the fuck it was. And so once you agreed and you stayed, you agreed to all of that. You know what I mean? And again, that was that next year we went in, we was a 3-way tie, I believe, our first year in it. We went from like a 3-17 to fucking sharing the Mountain West title.
And so, and again, this is my fault. Like,
nothing changed, by the way. Same players,
bro. Every time, generally, like, we should have sports all the time. So, and this is my fault for not developing our people better to get that culture to go down more. Yeah, because it's no different than a football team, right? We're leading a team of like a couple hundred people or whatever, getting them all in the same boat, rowing in the same direction, and then I think it's changing the fucking cadence of it all, right? Mm-hmm. Like the intention, the cadence, what is demanded, and really, you still got to paint the vision of like the outcome. Like, you guys think I'm just telling you to do your job just to do your job. Like, no, we have a fucking goal in mind, and we have a place we want to take you. Only way we get there is if everybody's rowing in the same direction. If you can't row in that same direction, you got to fucking leave. Yeah. And I think we got, and again, bro, I fucking love Hormozy, who's like, you want to know what the enemy of good is? Well, the enemy of great is good enough.
Yeah, it's average, right?
He was like, the enemy of great is good enough. I was like, we fucking fell into the good enough thing. And I was like, I promise you some of you guys are good enough, and we're going to fucking fire you.
Yeah. Because he said good enough, or just being average. The average changes every year or every day. The average changes because other companies are constantly growing. So it could be, average could be 30%. But let's be real, tomorrow, average could be 35%, average could be 40%. And if you're constantly just sitting at 30% and you're staying the same good every day, well, you're really not average to the whole average. You were once average, but you stayed the same every day, while the bar to average was raising every day.
Exactly.
So then at some point, your company goes under because you just plateaued.
And I don't think I was like, I mean, we're still a startup. Like this shit's still cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, like, and I know most of our competitors, but we still got to put them out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need to dominate the market if you really want to. If we want to have a great life, we need to be the best. We need to dominate the market. It doesn't work any other way.
Yeah, no, yeah. 100%.
It doesn't work any other way. Like I can't help you guys buy nice cars and nice houses unless we're the best.
They got to think about your company, that company, when it comes to that space.
When it comes to that space, like you have to be number one.
Mhm.
Whenever it thinks about quality, it comes number one. All of that needs to be aligned if you truly want to create something great, because most people don't even have the great standard. That's why there's only one champion.
Mhm.
People don't get that shit. You know, like in all reality, like
there's no participation trophies, man.
There's
There
no
really
fucking
isn't.
participation
You're either
trophies.
the best. What they say, you either first or last.
You're the first, you're last, and I don't give a fuck about your fucking feelings if someone tells you to do something. You're like, oh, well, they said it the wrong way. Well, did you implement it? Like, no one should ever be disrespecting you. And I was like, no one should ever be disrespecting you.
No, yeah, 100%. And I heard something one time that really, I think it helped me out, because I think there was a point in time where I think we're all sensitive at a point in time. And obviously going through a Division I football and stuff like that, you learn to lose that real quick. But I had a coach tell me one time, like, you know, don't hear the tone, hear the message. And when I heard that, it was super impactful, because I think when you're young, you hear the tone and you understand, you know, because we understand how people are necessarily feeling based off of how they're saying something, right? And you start to hear, you know, that they're upset, or you start to hear that, you know, they're disappointed, or whatever that may be. And I think that tone sometimes dictates how you're feeling about something, when the message might have been super productive. And so when you start taking the tone out of it and really start to think about, you know, what is it that this person's really telling me, you then can become more productive, because you know what, however he felt when, however he, she, however they felt when they said it, didn't really matter, because the words that was coming out of their mouth is ultimately what the tip was, or whatever the whatever the tip was for me to do the criticism. The words is really what the criticism was. It wasn't the tone in which I received it.
Yeah, so that is the one thing I'm dealing with, and I mean, it's growing pains. But I mean, I'd say, bro, it's hard to fucking instill culture virtually.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's been the biggest challenge for me so far. I mean, because like you aren't in the office,
yeah,
you aren't in there every day. They can't see, and then like the separation from you gets diluted really, really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
To where like everybody in the upper management's good, but then we aren't holding them accountable enough as far as everyone else.
And that's ultimately what it comes down to, because when they see your upper management, it should ultimately be like they're seeing you. You know what I mean? And I think that's like, you take the education system, right? We don't. I mean, the guy, I guess the guy now in Fresno Unified, I mean, he's pretty good in the sense of being what's the word I'm looking for, where you can see him.
Yeah.
Right.
They have to. I still think they have to see you though.
He does a good job at that. But I mean, when you talk about schools, bro, like your principal.
Yeah.
Your principal is just another layer of management. You know what I mean? But that has to be relayed from the top down, or what the expectation is for that school site. Same thing in any type of company. Like when they see your management, they should see a principal. They should see someone who, you know what, like they run shit here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I should hope not to see Strat. You know what I mean? Because the time I got to see Strat, like we talk about time is money, right? So if Strat coming down to see me, like I'm either getting a raise, you know, not even getting a raise, but like, you know what I mean? Like there's some shit going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I shouldn't want to see you.
And then I love this as far as applying this on your family core values. And one of my good friends, he was like, no, I am a fucking X. So it's like, he's like, I'm a Brown. Browns do shit this way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Tori? That shit is powerful if you can instill that in your child, like over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it goes into the same thing as your company. Like, no, I work at this company. Like, this company does shit this way. Mm-hmm. Like, then you have a legitimate culture of fucking people doing shit because this is what we do and there is no other way.
Yeah.
No other way.
There's no other way we do that.
They're like, there's just no other way. And like, why are you doing that? Because this is what the fuck we do and we're the best.
Standard, right? Mamba mentality, right?
And it's a
everyone
mentality.
knows, everyone recognizes Mamba mentality.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I was listening to Earn Your Leisure podcast. I have no problem plugging Earn Your Leisure because they don't need my plug.
I've still never listened to them.
They don't need my plug, but they did an interview with one of my favorite people, Steve Harvey. Every time I listen to one of his interviews, man, it's just always just packed with knowledge. And he talked about ownership, and just one of the things that, like, as he started going through Hollywood, and he noticed like show business, and he's just like, I said snow business.
Show. You said
Oh,
show
okay.
business.
Show business.
It's snow.
They're two different things, right? He talks about, there's the show aspect of it, and he's like, then there's the business aspect. And when you're early on, you're so focused on just making it that you pay attention to the show, but you don't pay attention too much to the business part of it. And then how pretty much after paying managements, agents, all this stuff, and then 40%, the government wants 40%. And he's like, you're losing 70% of your money. And as he started getting older, one of the things like with Oprah, like they always taught, like, you got to start owning your stuff. You got to learn how to start owning your stuff. And I thought that was super powerful because, again, this is something that comes down to experience.
Yeah.
And so he started going through just some of the core values that he had in his company. And he talked about being able to dream and having an imagination. And one thing that he said, he hired someone. And one of the biggest things he said in his company is just no excuses. Like, I can tell you something and it can seem like it's just wild as fuck that I'm saying I want to do this. But no one ever says, like, how are we supposed to do this? Like, it's just more like, hey, we're going to figure out how to do this. We'll get back to you.
Thank you.
And no one ever comes back to like,
ever.
Well, we ran into this issue. Like, don't come to me with issues. Come to me with like, we got from point A to point B. We're still trying to figure out how to get all the way to Z, but fuck, we're moving. You know what I mean? And that was one of the biggest things that he said with his team that he admired the most, is that no one brings me problems. They only bring me solutions, because I'm a dreamer. I got a big imagination. And when I shoot something out, it may seem like, how the fuck are we supposed to do this? Or how the fuck are we supposed to do that? No one's ever done that before.
That's the point.
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Take me from point A to point B, and then we can continue to figure out how to get all the way to Z.
My only pushback on that is like, okay, let's say you can't fucking figure it out.
Then you hired the wrong person, because that person should be able to at least go find the person that can figure it out.
Depending on your scale, right?
100%. We're not talking small business, right? We're just talking in general of where you would ultimately, when you're building a team, this is ideally what you would probably want in that team. You would want someone that can find the resources, because now money's not the issue.
Yeah.
Now it's just knowing the right people or finding the right people to solve that problem.
I always say, come up with 3 different solutions. If that doesn't work, and then like you've exhausted everything, like I can come up with some ideas for you. Like let's have everybody collab. Don't bring up anything that you've tried before. And like, okay, so what's the problem? And then I can like, okay, I'll give my input there, and then we can keep moving forward. But I want it absolutely exhausted to where, what if it is a fucking dead end of the situation? Like, okay, we need to reimagine what is going on here.
Do you really believe that there would be a dead end though?
In some things, yes.
I don't think so.
Pivots are always good.
Some of the shit that
so like,
that
and I'm saying like it's always good to pivot in business to like, we thought we were gonna do it this way. It'll be fine to fucking approach it this way.
But you still get to the same end result. You just go a different direction.
Yeah, or maybe the end result changes. I mean, so like Amazon started as a book company.
Yeah, but that wasn't like.
I don't think he had the vision that it was going to be this.
I think it started in that because of the variety and the scale of books. That was a way of getting there, and it ultimately continued to grow into more. Yes, I see what you're saying, but I don't think he was just like, I just want to sell books. Like, that was the vision. That was the dream of selling books.
He doesn't write any fucking books or do any podcasts, because I'd love to know. Like, I want to know how Jeff does business.
Yeah.
I want to know everything about how Jeff built.
I think all that shit starts off with a fucking dream, and then obviously that dream probably leads you in other directions, but the end goal never changes. I think the path on how you get there is dictated based off of what's discovered or invented at that moment. But if you think about like where we were in the early 2000s, like, do you think whoever came up with AOL, like, who at the time would have been like, okay, yeah, it's easy to be like, okay, let's just throw this shit on the phone.
I think
that was before fucking text messaging.
I think the internet people really did see this. I think the internet people saw it.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like, and at the time, like, you talk about dream, like, that's fucking wild as fuck. Like, you mean we're gonna be on the World Wide Web? You mean I'm gonna be able to say, hey, Siri? Like, you know what I mean? And the bitch gonna be able to figure it.
Right. It sounds like a fucking
she's gonna be able to tell
movie.
me all that stuff. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's what I mean. Like, at the time, it could be like, how the fuck are we gonna do that? And it's like, well, shit, let's think about what that consists of.
So that's like true entrepreneurship, but at the same time, like, that top person is still fucking figuring out those really big problems. Like, you're still like kicking down doors of like, this shit doesn't exist anymore. Wow. and you solve that problem. But the reason the people generally aren't bringing you their problems is because I'm kicking down one fucking massive problem. Everything else behind that, clean it up.
You clean it up.
So you clean it up.
You can figure out the rest of it,
right?
So so when we talk about like the Steve Harvey part of it, right? He talked about how he was doing. What's the show he does now?
Family Feud.
Family Feud, right?
What is something your girlfriend should do?
He be cracking me up.
Have you seen that reel?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Let me make this joke real quick.
Go ahead.
What is something your girlfriend should do?
I don't know.
What is something your girlfriend should sit on?
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I did see that.
My face.
He's like, I like where you was going there, or something like that. I did see that one.
All right.
But he was just talking about like Family Feud and just like how at that time he was just in a low space. So he was like, I really just needed the check. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't care like what that looked like from a business standpoint. He really just needed the check. And whatever, the show started doing so damn well here. And he was just like, he called up his guy and was just like, hey, like, I want to take it to Egypt. I want to take it to Africa. And I want to, you know what I mean? And they're like, how the fuck are we going to like, you know, they're not saying that, but it's like, bro, like, you want to take it to Africa.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And next thing you know, they're just like, well, we got to buy international rights, you know, or whatever the fuck it was.
Like, what is the thing we have to do?
What is the thing that we have to do? Because at the time, no one was necessarily just taking, you know, a show here and just taking it fucking to another country. You know what I mean? A mainstream show like that. And they figured it out. They told them to take them like 12 months before they can actually start shooting. He's like, they were shooting within like 9 months. They're recording the seasons and stuff like that. So it's just like a dream. When I say dream, or just like, don't be afraid of thinking not outside the box, because this wasn't necessarily outside the box. It was just like, how do we grow this?
Outside the box, yes, and don't be afraid to be a dreamer. Like the best, Elon Musk wants to take us on Mars, you know? And I'd say Elon Musk is probably the best one out of all of us
to do it.
Like to do it. Like Elon Musk is probably like the
like
best.
He said it, and I wasn't like, oh shit, like nigga, you're not doing that. Like I'm like, oh shit, this money about to take us to Mars.
Like Elon Musk, I would say, is the best entrepreneur of our age, hands down. Like there's Jeff Bezos. I'd say Warren Buffett is an investor, but as like a true entrepreneur, Elon Musk is running 2 Fortune 500 companies, like $1 billion companies at the same time.
Which
no one else does.
Which is Tesla.
He's got Tesla. He's got SpaceX.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and so like to do that and then dream of, he was like, well, I want to do this and I want to do, and bro, he created PayPal. Elon Musk is responsible for fucking online banking.
I didn't know that.
Like, so he's done a lot of straight up idea to conception to, all right, no, this is an actual product, and then to where that's what's crazy about like the tech space, to where it is just big dreams.
Yeah.
Of then, okay, how can we consolidate this and actually bring it to market? And then bring it to market, to where that is what I love about like startups and shit. To where a lot of it's just like a fucking idea, and like, you know what, we're gonna go raise some money for this idea and see if we can make this work. It's like, oh yeah, I guess we could do online baking. Yeah, let's see what happens. And then dude created PayPal. Then the dude, you should read his book by his biography by Ashley Vance. The dude taught himself rocket science, and he took all of his money from PayPal and invested in the other companies and went to Russia and bought the fucking rockets because no one else was selling rockets. And now he outpaces NASA and everything.
Fuck you, outpace NASA.
Like he's outpaced NASA.
That's that house shit right there. How the fuck you outpace NASA?
Well, how do you outpace NASA? Has like they have a lot of money, but again, that's why I don't believe in fucking government organizations, because there's no incentive to be efficient and drive a profit.
Yeah.
Right. So he did it.
That's why I don't believe in like the cancer fucking. Was it the national cancer shit? Everyone would be donating to find a cure for cancer. I'm like, bro, y'all just throwing y'all money into some bullshit.
Okay, we'll go down this conspiracy theory. Lane, real quick. I personally do think it's like $1 trillion industry, and there's no
cancer.
Yeah, like cancer, AIDS,
profiting. Like
the pharmaceutical companies run a lot of shit.
We know that, yeah.
Like we know that. So like there is no financial incentive for them to cure shit.
No. So that's why every time I hear people like, oh, we're donating this for find a cure for cancer. I'm like, bro, they're never gonna find a cure for cancer.
I truly don't think they will.
That's like the biggest Ponzi scheme ever.
I do think I'll donate to St. Jude's. Like when there's like a family who's like staying there, like I'm about that.
There's a real product.
Yeah.
It's a family, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like real shit.
Yeah.
But like donating to something that's like, how close are we, bro? Motherfuckers been donating to the cancer whatever forever. Yeah. Are we close?
I am 100% on board to ride. I don't trust any pharmaceutical companies. Like,
Yeah.
that's why the whole COVID shit, I was like, no, it's all.
Well, it just came out something like that about the numbers or something like that. Somebody posted
To where
it.
they lied about it.
Where they lied about it, and I mean, kids died over some shit like that, you know. And we can. I'm not trying to get political. I mean, this isn't a political show at all. But I mean, you talk about like certain podcasts and certain people, you know.
Andy was right about everything.
You know what I mean? But and he went so hard on it, and it was so uncomfortable because of how hard he went at it. It was just more like, I don't disagree with you, but like I just don't have the energy to really like investigate this shit.
Andy was right about
And as we get
everything.
further and further away from COVID and shit start coming up, it's kind of like, bro, like this shit's been said. That's the power of social media, though, because shit, we've had access to everything that these people have said that literally verifies what's starting to come out now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so at the time, we were just sheep. What's the damn mastermind you went to?
Lions Not Sheep.
Lions Not Sheep, right? It shit seems hella wild and shit at first. But like as we get further along, I mean, and I'm not taking nothing away from the pandemic in itself, because yes, people have died from it. I just think that there was probably a better solution to it than what we came up with.
Significantly better. Well, all right,
So
I got
that's
one
it.
more. I got what? Did you see that post I made of Andrew Schultz yesterday
Is that the dude that had the little?
with the fucking goggles?
Yeah, okay, I seen it, but I didn't listen to it because I seen the guy and he kind of like agitated me already. So I just
How come?
I don't know. It was just,
How do you feel about that whole thing?
was it the dude in like the bathing suit or whatever he had on?
Yeah, and he said he was joining the national women's swimming team. Over the
I've seen posts about that, but I don't know a lot of information. I'm assuming a guy must have won a woman's.
the dude
championship.
transitioned when he was like ranked 400 in the country in
in
swimming.
men.
In men, and
It's
then
like, fuck, I'm about to go dominate these women.
and he transitioned to be a woman. And I was just like, bro, like I have nothing wrong with you transitioning or anything, but like, come on, dude.
He did it from a competitive standpoint to be a winner.
Even if it's not from a competitive standpoint, this other person worked their ass off to get there. And then you've been a biological male, let's say, for like 23 years. Think about those 3 years of college training that we get, and the puberty and the fucking shoulders and everything else, to where it's, bro, you know it's not the same.
He's like, bro, I ain't gonna win this shit as a senior, bro. You know what, bro?
Fuck these bitches.
I'm a woman.
Fuck these bitches. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, so when we talk about transition, I wonder like what type of transition? Like, is there some type of standard when we talk about like identifying as nowadays? I mean, there's so many damn letters.
So the hard part is that there's no
standard to it. Anybody,
that's
like,
that's the hard part.
I can say, fucking, I'm a loser as a male. I'm number 400 in the nation.
If I really wanted,
you know what? I'm
to,
a woman, dog. Stop that. My name's Michelle.
Like, I mean, so what is
dominate these bitches and swim?
That's what he made the joke.
Like,
if
you know
there's
what I mean?
no
Like,
rules
shit.
and like no, like, let's say like no set standard,
Yeah,
I could really come out and be like, you know what? No, I am officially a woman. I dress like a man. I talk like a man. I got a massive dick, but
I love women.
I love women, and I'm a woman.
Doesn't matter. I guess.
Which doesn't matter, but like,
but you really don't have to change your lifestyle.
I don't have to change anything.
Yeah.
But just say I identify as
And
a
I
woman.
want to keep my name.
And I'm gonna keep my name.
Still gonna be Michael, but I'm a woman.
And I identify as a woman, and I'm gonna use the women's bathroom, and I'm gonna compete in all women's sports.
I mean, but you open up the floodgates to that stuff when they start.
It's already open.
But you know what I mean? Like that's the floodgates I got open. There's no regulations, or there's no type of
I just think it's like no set standard of like, hey, yeah, cool, awesome, we agree with you, do whatever the fuck you want. This is America. But generally we have to see these things in order for it to be good in whatever space.
And then you start to get into the whole issue of like, well, who are you to tell me that I have to behave this way in order to be this, or I have to look this way in order to be this, or you know, whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
It's
now
a
you got other
wild
people
ass
trying to set a
dynamic.
standard on something that a lot of people maybe not believe in. But you got people who are not of same kind or whatever, trying to regulate something that they have no experience as, if that makes any sense.
But then at that point, what about all of the women who work really hard, who are
and there's a bunch of regulations on women.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of
people who aren't women.
By people who aren't women.
Yeah.
But like, let's say, okay, now we got a bunch of naturally born women, and they were born with a badge, right? And then they never ever had testosterone in their body. Now what?
Not 20 years of it.
Not 20 years of it.
Yeah.
I mean, so the Olympic strength dude who won the Olympics, who was like a dude, again, who was an Olympic weightlifter, transitioned to a woman, and then won the gold medal, knocked out someone else.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Right. And then you have Sha'Carri Richardson, who couldn't compete because she smoked some weed. We all know weed doesn't not a performance enhancing drug.
Yeah.
Like, Come on, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell me how that's
What's
right.
your standard?
What's your standard?
And that's why. I mean,
What if Usain Bolt decides, you know what? I'm a convert. And he says, I'm a woman today.
He ain't got to though, because he be burning niggas too. So,
but he wants both of them. He wants both world records.
I want to win all classes.
I want all of it. I want 2 different belts.
That'd be wild, dude.
I know this isn't a.
I'm
not telling you how to think, but think about how that's fair. I mean, if this is an athletic show, think about how that's fair on your child.
Yeah, you kind of went down a little rabbit hole there, huh?
Yeah. What else we got? I mean, it goes in. That shit was wild. What else did I post? What else have I run into in the last week? We had Brady come. I wish you would have seen him.
I'm about to say, tax guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really good.
I was about to ask you about that one. I didn't see later on that evening. I was like, oh yeah, he told me about this like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he was
the guy was coming, and
I think he's still here.
Completely forgot about it, man.
But he so he makes a bunch of his main clientele is door-to-door salesman, and you don't realize, like, you know exactly where to put all of your money when you make it because you've just been in the investing realm. Most other people have no idea.
You just spend it,
or they're just like, I got the money, but like, what do I do? You know exactly what vehicles you want to put it into. You know if you need to put it into a business. You know if you can put it into real estate, crypto, whatever. A lot of people who just have really, really high-paying jobs, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know about taxes. They don't know about real estate, to where like it's kind of
you get fucked every year.
Yeah, but like it's what we have to know about. At least for me, like I have to.
It's your money, dude.
Yeah, well, not even my money, but like it
is
in our real estate space. It's like the game you play. To a lot of people don't even know about like the different tax laws, what you can do, what you can implement.
My man just bought a Porsche under 6,000 pounds.
Jason,
write off, baby. You know what I mean?
I called him the other day.
I told him I need a ride. Fuck
bro, that's so did I.
I need a ride, bro.
I'm gonna call him after this. I'm gonna call him after this.
Yeah, that thing was nice. An electric vehicle.
He said he was whipping that bitch like 120 over Pacheco Pass. He's like, bro, this is wild.
Sheesh. Sounds amazing.
I want to make the car sound, but there's no sound.
Man, you could put like some type of.
You can
put some type of digital something in there to make it sound like that.
What's your dream car?
Shit, I don't know.
Are you into cars like that?
Huh?
Are you into cars like that?
I'm not like a car like junkie or anything like that. I mean, I like nice cars. Like I like fast cars. I like luxury cars. I don't know. Like I've always said, like I used to have I had a 6-cylinder Challenger, and I always said that I wanted like a Hellcat or something, just for the speed of it.
Is your Durango an SRT?
No. That's the family car.
Bro, them bitches
are.
They sound. So
I used to want 2 of them. I used to want the one that we got, and I wanted another one.
Bro,
just to have the two because I love the Durango. And I was like, man, like if I just got an SRT one, let my wife keep that one. But my wife wasn't having it. She was like, bro, if anyone will get SRT, it's gonna be me. So,
dude,
I do like fast cars. I love I like American muscle though. So I do love to feel when you push the gas pedal. I do love hearing it and feeling it. It's just something about it, man. You don't. And in electric cars, you do get the feel. You don't get the sound. But when you tap the gas pedal on those things, you don't even feel like the car about to run away from you.
So Kalani doesn't get why I love the sound of cars.
I don't know. I mean, honestly,
I love it.
It's just something. It's just the grab. I mean, I don't know. Like it just makes me feel good. Like it's weird. It's weird, bro. You push it, it's just like I don't know. It's I don't know. The further down you push it, the louder it kind of gets. So
right. I mean, like those Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's just something about it, man.
I get hype.
So I seen what's that? I seen a Rolls Royce that I thought was fucking pimp. It kind of it's not an SUV, but it's kind of like a
they have like a 4-door SUV.
Like if it's like a 4-door, that motherfucker was wet. I seen one on
those are
on the Reels.
Those
it was all black. It was like a matte black one.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, that's sick. I could put my kids in there too. I love to put my kids in there too. So I thought that was sick.
I like those. I like the Phantoms. Like I've gone and I've built out my own.
Yeah,
I've gone everywhere. I've like built out all the different cars that I want. I like Ferraris a lot. I don't know why I like more than Lamborghinis, but I do. But because I feel like a Ferrari like that's like a Lamborghini the gurus have. A Ferrari like the real dudes have.
The wealthy.
The wealthy dudes have Ferraris. Like the billionaire goes to our cigar lounge, pulls up in a nice ass fucking Ferrari.
Yeah,
like a nice ass Ferrari.
And then I don't know if I would like even want to like own like a bunch of like. I don't know. Like I feel like I love so many different cars for so many different reasons that I would just want a piece of like each one for a while.
Like
But then
let's
you got
say
Floyd.
Andy
But
Frisella.
then you got
Like
Floyd
and
that
Andy
guy. You know what I mean?
Frisella,
If I have money like that,
it doesn't
like,
matter.
It don't fucking matter. Like,
He's like, it's a car collection again. Like now this is an asset, blah, blah, blah.
100%. You can rent it out. You can
Or you can flip them, but at the same time, it's like collecting Transformers. Like if you take it to scale again, like how we talked about Hormozy, to where like these dudes have 9 figures laying around in their bank account.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a show that's supposed to be coming out. I actually wanted to see it because just like, what we do with real estate and shit like that, like, essentially it's, if you talk about like hospitality, like there's like a car service in a way of just like dudes getting cars, there's only 5 of these built and like Floyd got 2 of them. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like a whole nother game within at that point, like, bro, there's only 5 on the planet and I got 2 of them in my garage. Like you talk about an asset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then these people are buying it with like third generation money, 4th generation money. So like, it's not even, this is just fun at that point. You know what I mean? Dudes calling. Matter of fact, I seen a podcast where they was talking with Trent Williams with the 49ers.
Running back? Or
no, Trent Williams with the 49ers. Highest paid tackle in the game.
Left tackle. Yeah. He's right? a dog.
And my man was talking about how he had he bought a private jet. And they was like, oh, it was like they paying y'all money now, right? And the way that he educated it on that podcast was fucking dope because he was just like, if I had a $30 million $30 million signing bonus, he put it into some type of whatever. He put it into some type of whatever it was. And for the jet, he had to put down, it was like a $3 million jet. He used the interest from it or something like that to buy the jet, in which he uses for personal matters, but he also leases it out. And so based off just the tax break that he gets
from owning that
jet and the amount of money that he made, he would have lost the money basically or something like that and ended up paying for the jet. So the jet ended up being free.
The jet ended up
the way that he did it. And I was like, bro, that was smart as fuck because when you got money already, in a sense, like when you get that $30 million signing bonus, like if you're signing for $100 and something million, like, I mean, okay, I'm gonna put 30 million away, like whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the taxes on that already? Yeah, so instead of getting taxes on that, you're putting it somewhere. And with that same money, you're buying a jet that you're now making income off of. Tax-free.
And the reason everybody buys jets and yachts is because it's 100% depreciable like the first year. Like no matter what, like you can just write it off.
The jet was $3 million
off of the loan too. So he put down that $3 million, and then you depreciate that whole $30 million value.
Well, I think the jet itself was just $3 million. I don't want to say just $3 million, but it was $3 million.
Yeah. But like, so let's say we did like a $30 million jet, we put $3 million down, we can depreciate that whole $30 million year one, and then we can eliminate that tax burden, as far as I understand. Crazy, right. Bro. So we do that, and then let's say we take the whole lump sum of that, invest that in there. Now we're getting our interest. That makes that makes us more money, right? But we offset that tax burden, and then we lease it out, and then now that's paying for it's making us money, and I still could use it personally.
Yeah.
So like in all reality, like you could do the same thing.
So you're really not losing it. No. You still have access to the funds.
Yeah.
But for tax purposes, it looks like it's somewhere else.
Yeah. And
you're basically lending it. You're basically borrowing it from that source.
And you could do the same thing from like with a Tesla. So like, let's say you buy a Tesla, you put down $30,000. It costs you like 145. We'd appreciate the whole 145 year one, and then I put it on Turo.
Yep.
And so now I get the tax benefit.
And that's what a lot of people are doing. That's what a lot of people do. There's a guy here, Ronnie. I can't remember dude's name, but he's with Strive, not Strive. He's with Real Brokerage. He does Turo. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I don't know if he teaches people on it, but from my understanding, like he's the guy for it. I mean, Darren Wade would know exactly who I'm talking about. So reach out to Darren or just inbox me, and I'll be able to send you the dude's profile. I just can't remember his name off the top of my head. But that is a real thing, bro. And like I think that's what's so dope about some of the stuff. And like you see it, like I believe he said he also took like money and he bought like during the season. There was like he did a research, right, when it came to real estate, and which people don't understand. Like there's a lot of like professional athletes in
They
real
get
estate.
fucked. But
You-
there's a lot of them
that get fucked.
too.
But like nowadays, I would say that there's less of them that gets fucked because there's so much knowledge now in locker rooms and stuff like that. And one thing that he said he really liked about real estate is that it was something that you can touch, or it was something that you can literally look at the numbers and it'll tell you. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to really screw someone in the sense of if you're buying an asset, not syndicating, not all. I'm saying if you're actually just buying the asset based off of the growth of that area.
Yeah.
And he went and bought like 4 or 5 houses in a new subdivision, and he bought it during the season. Towards the end, like he got a check or whatever. He was like, oh shit. Like he was like, it wasn't a lot at the time, but what they were focusing on is like when you retire, that $40,000 check is a lot.
Yeah.
At the moment, you making, $1 million a game. You know what I mean? It don't seem like a lot at the time, but like again, these people are all thinking about once they retire. And so it brought to my mind is because obviously we got a new build getting built, and what I'm starting to see a lot of these new builds, there's for rent signs on them.
Right.
And so people can be like, damn, like what? How are people just buying a house and putting it up for rent? Taxes, money problems. People are putting this money in in real estate.
That's what another conspiracy, not even a conspiracy theory. They don't really want you to own a property anymore. Like, so Blackstone is buying up tons. Like hundreds to thousands of really nice new builds to where they're building it to rent it, to where they're gonna
build to rent.
It'll get to a point to where they own it all, right? So that's why like some of these things are going up for rent. Like a fucking hedge fund might own it. And they're like, bro, we want our 5% and call it a day.
Yeah,
and then they'll play the 40-year game.
Money. Oh, for sure,
they'll play the 40-year game.
That's the kind of money they got.
Yeah,
and that's really the numbers that they're running it off of is based off where's this place going to be in 40 years, 20 years, 10 years. You know what I mean? Not even 10 years. Like that's short term for them.
Yeah.
And so you talk about like kind of some of the things that I thought about, like that's something I've always wanted to do in the sense of build to rent community. I've wanted to build a community of houses, maybe a 50, 100 house development and just keep them all in a portfolio.
Exactly.
So I've always thought that would be something that'd be fucking sick to do.
Or your house will be worth like what? I mean, let's say 30 years, your house will be worth 1.5 minimum.
Oh, for sure. So from based off of where we had to put an offer in, right, where the house was listed to buy that lot, we came in, I think 25 or 30 grand over whatever that list price is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the house is, and this is in the span of maybe like a month, since that time, what we paid for our house is what they're being listed at. You know what I mean? And at the time, it's like, fuck, is it going to appraise? I mean, most new builds will appraise, but now that they're fucking starting the base price off at what I paid, it's like, fuck, all right, I'm good. Like, I low-key got equity in it, and it ain't even built yet. It's still a cement foundation.
Oh, and so I was talking to Henry, and Henry's like, I invest a lot differently now. I buy just good assets, and I have enough cash flow everywhere else where I can capture the depreciation of that asset, but I buy it in an A-class neighborhood. I don't need the cash flow. I make plenty of money, but that asset is going to be a great asset to hold as far as appreciation over time.
Talk about long-term now.
Yeah, to where he has, again, you're going to know where you're at in your investing journey. To where he's like, bro, at this point in my journey, dude, if we have a bunch of A-class and B-class stuff, like how we talk about Grant Cardone buys amazing assets.
Like price don't matter at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the price matters.
It matters, but you're looking long-term in that area, right? And you talk Central Valley, bro. Like, I'm telling you, like, it's only a certain amount of time. Like homes are gonna, I mean, fuck, you talk about the Bay Area and stuff like that. Like I had one of my buddies tell me, like, when he looked at Tower, he's like, it looked like Oakland, like, before Oakland like popped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You look at the Tower area, and he's kind of like, man, like for that price point, like I'll buy everything here because this is what it reminds me of, but it's already nicer than what that was before it popped.
And if you have that type of mentality, like the hedge fund mentality, where I'm buying this for 40 years. I don't really care about a return. Like we get our return.
Make me $100 a month. If it just breaks even. Because if you got cash flow at this point in time, as long as it don't take money from me, and I'm saving myself in taxes by just buying them anyway.
Yeah.
Why not buy them?
But and again, don't buy alligators.
Yes, do not buy alligators.
Have your own fucking investment. And this is all again theory. And
what was Henry? He said like $100, $200 a month or something like that was like his numbers.
Henry?
Yeah.
So
early on, he was like, if it made him $100 or $200 a month, and I was like, fuck, he has it, but he has a plan. I'll buy it if it cash flows me this.
But for his stuff now, again, he has a different aspect to where I heard about this. Like David Green talked about it on a podcast one time. To where it's like, bro, some people tell you like to do some shit only by cash flow. If you have enough money to buy a house in San Diego and it loses you $300 a month,
but you get the cash flow to support that,
and you know it's only going up in value, and the appreciation outgains the fucking $300 a month that you're losing. Like it's still a deal, and honestly, the $300 a month is not going to make or break you if you can afford the house in the first place.
Yes,
but again, it's like that's a different strategy.
It's a different strategy
and a different
where
place
you
to
are
operate
now. From. I mean, they're talking about different price points in that they're buying now, right? Lake beachfront, stuff like that, things that they're going to be able to put on. Like everyone talks a lot, like we talk about Airbnb sometimes too. And once you get into that part of your investing world where you're not really tripping off the cash flow like that, now you can go spend $1.5 million on a home that's sitting, beachfront, fucking, because it's going to make great money on a monthly return, and you still get the freaking you get the monthly return from it, and you still get the appreciation if you're buying in like California.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what they're really banking on is just the appreciation. At the end of the day, California is only going to continue to get more expensive. You know what I mean? So it's going to be kind of hard to lose money on a beachfront house.
Exactly. Well, if you're buying stuff all cash, right? Like, it might not be the best place to put your cash, but over a 30-year period of time, it's just like a bank account. And like, bro, like we'll be fine. If I have to fire sell it, I fire sell it. But at least I can recoup some cost. That's what. Do we have any engagement in there, dude? Have you checked?
I did it.
Let's check.
See what we got up on here. Anybody up on here? No, I don't see anything.
Nothing?
People don't fuck with us like that.
People don't fuck with us. People don't fuck with us. That's what
maybe on yours, see if we got something on there. I don't see anything. You see anything on there, Jake? No. 45 minutes in.
Do you have anything else?
Nope.
I'm good.
We'll see us next week, man.
Yeah. See you next week. Oh, the winning mastermind closes on Friday. If you're interested in joining, send me a DM saying win. Talk about what you got going on.
Oh man, just continuing on with the wholesaling aspect of it. We're working on our flip. That thing has come a long way in the last 30 days. And so I know you mentioned it before, but if anyone's interested in coming by, taking a look at kind of what's being done there, I have no problem with collecting a group of 5 or 6 people, and we could walk through it. We could talk about kind of what we did, why we're doing it that way. I mean, it's a learning experience for me and my wife. We got great partners in Aaron and Cletus with EVC Homes, and
I say you do a walkthrough, bro.
Huh?
I say just post it on the meetup group. I'll post it for you.
Yeah. So and I don't want to do it. Obviously, it's still a construction site and stuff like that, but I don't want nothing too big or anything like that. But if you're interested in it, reach out to me. We can set up a time and a date for us to just walk through there and kind of talk about what we did. But we are excited because we did get Ed. Ed did do a before video. We got one midway through it, and we'll have an after. So we will have a nice little video at the end of the flip to be able to show everybody kind of what it looked like.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Talk to you next week.
See you next week. Thank you for tuning in to the Free Agent Real Estate Investing Podcast. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review. If you would like to stay in touch with Stratton and myself, follow us on Instagram. And please be sure to subscribe to our Free Agent REI Podcast YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up.